I never thought I'd put this story into words. For years, I told myself it was just a trick of the water, a dream, or maybe even a nightmare I'd dragged into waking life. But the memory has never left me. It clings to me like the cold mist that hangs over Okanagan Lake at dawn. And deep down, I know what I saw. They call it Ogopogo. To most people, it's just a local legend, a tourist curiosity, a story to sell trinkets and t-shirts. But to those of us who've been on the lake after dark, when the stars vanish behind storm clouds and the water grows restless, it's more than a legend. It's alive. I grew up in Kelowna, right along the shores of Okanagan Lake. Summers were filled with fishing, swimming, camping along the banks, and late nights by the fire listening to the old stories. My grandfather loved to talk about Ogopogo. He would describe it as a massive, serpent-like creature, longer than a school bus, with a head like a horse or dragon. He'd tell us that the First Nations people called it the spirit of the lake, and believed it demanded sacrifices to cross safely. Some of the elders said it wasn't a monster at all, but a guardian or even a demon, depending on who you asked. I always laughed it off. My friends and I would dare each other to say Ogopogo 3 times while staring out at the moonlit water, then sprint back to camp like scared kids. It was just a game. Or so I thought. It was the summer of 2010. I was 19, restless, and desperate for adventure. My friend Jason had just bought a second-hand motorboat barely held together with duct tape and prayers, but to us it was freedom. One night, he convinced me to take it out onto the lake. "Come on," he said, grinning as he tossed me a life jacket. "We'll have the whole place to ourselves. No tourists, no fishermen, just stars, beer, and silence." I hesitated. There was something about the water at night that made my skin crawl. It wasn't fear exactly, more like the sense that something was watching. But I didn't want to look like a coward, so I agreed. We pushed off just after midnight. The air was cool, the moon hidden behind drifting clouds. The surface of the lake was smooth at first, like black glass, reflecting the few stars that managed to pierce the sky. We killed the engine and let the boat drift. The silence was overwhelming. No crickets, no owls, just the gentle slap of water against the hull. Jason was joking about Ogopogo, doing his best monster impression, when I noticed the ripples. They started small, just faint rings spreading across the water. At first I thought it was a fish, but then the rings grew larger, more powerful, like something massive was moving just beneath the surface. "Hey," I whispered, pointing toward the center of the lake. Jason laughed. "What, you think that's your grandpa's monster?" But the laughter died quickly because the ripples weren't random, they were rhythmic. Like something swimming in long, deliberate strokes. And then we saw it. A dark shape broke the surface, not a log, not driftwood, it was alive. The head rose first, slick and wet, followed by the long curve of a neck. For a moment it just hovered there, half out of the water, silent and still, as if it knew we were watching. My breath caught in my throat. The moon slipped free of the clouds then, casting pale light across the lake. That's when I saw the eyes. Glowing, reflective, focused on us. The night seemed endless. The lake, once a place of peace, now carried an unsettling weight. The water no longer shimmered under the moonlight, it seemed alive, restless, as if something beneath the surface was waiting. I tried to convince myself it was nothing more than my imagination, a trick of the night, but then I saw it. The water broke silently at first, a ripple, then a shadow. It stretched longer and longer, far too long to be any ordinary creature. My breath caught in my chest. A head rose, not human, not entirely animal, something ancient, something that belonged to the depths of time. Its eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the moon like twin lanterns. I froze. Every instinct told me not to move, not to breathe. The creature Ogopogo moved with a grace that didn't match its massive form. Scales shimmered with a greenish hue, its body snaking through the water like a living current. It circled, slow and deliberate, as though it knew I was there, watching. For a moment, we locked eyes. And in that silence, I felt something strange. This wasn't just an animal. There was intelligence behind that stare, almost curiosity. But then, without warning, the lake erupted. A powerful wave surged toward me as the creature dove deep, its massive tail striking the water. The boat rocked violently. I nearly lost my balance. Silence returned just as quickly as it was broken, only the ripples remained. Had I really seen it, or was the lake playing tricks on me? Locals say the Ogopogo protects the waters, that it only reveals itself to those who dare to seek it. Some call it a guardian spirit, others a monster. All I know is this: once you've seen those glowing eyes in the darkness, you'll never forget them. Who knows? Maybe next time you'll be the one telling the story. The days after that encounter blurred together, but my mind never left the lake. Every sound of rushing water, every flicker of light across the surface pulled me back to that night. I had seen something extraordinary, and I couldn't walk away from it. I returned to Okanagan Lake, determined. Locals warned me. Once you've seen Ogopogo, it never truly leaves you. The spirit of the lake follows. Their words echoed in my head as I launched my small boat once more. The air was colder this time. The clouds hung heavy, and the water looked darker, almost black. I carried no fishing gear, no supplies, just a notebook, a flashlight, and the restless need to see it again. For hours, nothing happened, only silence. Only the endless, empty surface of the lake. And then, the water stirred. A deep vibration rolled through the boat. It wasn't wind, it wasn't current. It felt like the heartbeat of the lake itself. Ripples formed, spreading outward in perfect circles. My hands shook as I reached for the flashlight, but part of me didn't want to use it. Some things aren't meant to be revealed by light. The water broke again, this time larger, closer. I saw the long, ridged back rise above the surface, arching like a living mountain. 1, 2, 3 massive humps moved in rhythm, cutting across the water with terrifying precision. It was here. The head rose once more, towering above my boat. The glowing eyes burned brighter than before, locked onto me as if it remembered. But instead of fear, I felt connection, as though the lake itself had chosen me to witness its secret. Ogopogo circled my boat, sending waves rolling against the hull. The sound of water slapping against wood echoed in the night air, and then it slowed. The massive creature stopped, half of its body submerged, half of it glistening under the moonlight. For the first time, I saw it clearly, scales like polished stone, teeth sharp but hidden behind lips that didn't quite smile, didn't quite snarl. It was beautiful, terrifying, otherworldly. And then a sound, not a growl, not a hiss, but something deep and resonant, like the rumble of thunder trapped beneath the water. It vibrated through my bones. The legend said Ogopogo was a guardian. And in that moment, I understood this was no monster. This was the keeper of the lake, ancient and eternal. Before I could react, it dove once more. The water exploded around me, the boat nearly capsizing. I held on, heart racing, as the surface stilled again. The ripples faded, the lake grew calm, and Ogopogo was gone. But I knew without doubt I had been chosen to see what so many only whisper about. Some call it a myth, others call it a warning. I call it truth. Because I've looked into the eyes of Ogopogo, and once you've seen them, you'll never see the world the same way again. If you believe in cryptids, legends, and the mysteries that lurk just beyond our sight, let me know in the comments. Do Do you think Ogopogo is a guardian or something else entirely? And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell so you never miss another story. More chilling legends and encounters are waiting on my YouTube channel at Twinkling17, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.